where we show you all the programs that we run live in front of a live audience. Programs like Global Star Party, On the Wing for birders, First Light Chronicles for beginners, and Focus on Astrophotography for astrophotographers. We bring in astronomers and explorers from around the world to answer your questions live. But there's so much cool information there that we decided to package it all together and run it 24 hours a day. We're also on Amazon Live, where we do deep dives into our products and our gear. There's so much important information as we share the education, the experience, answering questions from the audience, that kind of thing. So tune in, and thanks for watching. If you're in love with the stars, you love the Milky Way, and you want to be out with astronomers under a really dark sky, come to the Arizona Dark Sky Star Party with Biosphere 2. It's going to be amazing. You'll be at Oracle State Park, Oracle, Arizona, and we're going to have music, stars, astronomy, door prizes, a lot of fun. Come to explorescientific.com/events and sign up.
National Geographic's CF600 PM telescope lets you explore the intricate contours of lunar terrain or the brilliant clusters of Pleiades. Use the red dot finder to accurately line up this entry-level scope with the alt-azimuth mount and tripod to begin your journey into the world of amateur astronomy. The 90-degree diagonal mirror assembly makes viewing comfortable, and the built-in storage trays keep your two included eyepieces safe and secure. The easy-to-use telescope lets you see clearly with an aperture of 50mm with a 600mm focal length, and the unique carbon fiber styling of the CF600 PM gives this scope a modern, rugged edge. Use the included online astronomy software and star map with the National Geographic CF600 PM telescope to begin your journey to exploration of the stars.
Geographic's 40 to 1600 times microscope adds a digital twist to its traditional design with the inclusion of a USB eyepiece that connects directly to your computer, allowing easy viewing, sharing, and image capture. The easy-to-use USB eyepiece is compatible with Windows 10 and Apple. Plug the eyepiece into any USB port, then open the camera app in Windows or Photo Booth on an Apple computer. Able to accommodate different types of specimens, this microscope offers both top and bottom illumination and an adjustable color filter wheel. You can start investigating right away with the full accessory kit that includes collection and preparation tools, prepared and blank slides, a shrimp hatchery, and an easy-to-use cell phone adapter for on-the-go exploration. The durable case keeps the National Geographic 40 to 1600 times microscope ready to go at home or on the road.
From our National Geographic series, the Explorer NT114CF Newtonian Astronomical Telescope is a perfect portal into the realm of deep sky observation. Offering a 114mm aperture and 500mm focal length, the telescope comes with two colossal eyepieces that produce images with excellent definition and contrast. The set also includes an adjustable tripod and a red dot viewfinder. Just add clear dark skies on a moonless night and you're set to explore the universe with the National Geographic Explorer NT-114 CF Newtonian Astronomical Telescope.
Scott Roberts from Explore Scientific. Last time, when we were talking about how to make astrophotographs with your telescope, this is for beginners or for anybody that wants to start off making astrophotographs maybe with a smartphone. We talked about the importance of getting perfect focus. And so we showed how a Bahtinov mask works, which is a fantastic device. But once you've got perfect focus, then it's a matter of keeping the object in the center of the field of view. And a lot of times it's also a matter of tracking this object. Now, something like the moon is reflected sunlight, and your exposure time is going to be really short. And so we can use a mount that works like this. It's just what's called a simple alt-az mount. Alt is altitude, which moves up and down, and azimuth is this side-to-side movement. If you're a photographer, it's like tilt and pan, okay? But if you just simply try to follow objects in the sky using tilt and pan, your adjustments usually are going to be pretty jerky. It's not going to be very smooth. And even if you were perfectly smooth, the object in the field is going to be spinning slightly. So if your exposure times are longer, a minute, couple of minutes, you're going to start to detect what's called field rotation. So that leads us to talk about a different kind of mount called the Equatorial Mount. Of course, the reason why you need a tracking mount and an equatorial tracking mount is because the stars are rising in the east and setting in the west. And so if you look at a time-lapse image like this one, you're going to see that graphically. We have different equatorial mounts here, and this type of equatorial mount is called the German equatorial. There are actually different types. There's fork mount, English type, Ponset mounts would be another example. But the German equatorial is great because it's so versatile. It's characterized by having a counterweight that's balancing out the tube, and we can move the tube back and forth to get the balance on the other axis. This is called right ascension because objects appear to ascend to the right, okay? And this axis right here is called declination because no matter where we go, we're declining from the pole. And so the job is to align this axis here with the pole in the sky, whether you're in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere. So when you choose an equatorial mount, you're trying to balance the size of the mount with the size of your telescope. So there's a specification called payload capacity. And a lot of people think that, well, the payload capacity of a mount is how much can it possibly hold, okay? But that's not really true. An equatorial mount, most equatorial mounts can hold an incredible amount of weight. I've demonstrated that a couple of times myself. But where things become different is how much weight can the telescope hold and still have high performance tracking. Okay, that's the difference. And so when you're asking, what's the payload capacity of my mount, the question you're really asking is how much is the payload capacity for astrophotography? Okay, and that is a little bit different question. Sometimes you look at specifications from different manufacturers and they will say holds up to blah, some poundage or kilograms. Okay, but that's not really what you're after. The question that you're after is the specification that the manufacturer has for astrophotography. We can add more weight to these mounts, but if we go past a certain point, the pressure between the gear that's moving the telescope and the worm wheel that's down here, that's going to change slightly, and that changes the characteristic of the tracking ability. It doesn't mean that it won't track, but how well it tracks. And so now all of these mounts too have, that I'm going to show you, have computer systems on them. You know, from Explore Scientific, that's called the PMC-8. And so we have, over to my left over here, we have the iExos 100. This is the Exos 2. And then I have an even larger equatorial mount called the Titan, okay, which is a Losmandy mount, which has been modified to hold the PMC-8 electronics. So I'm controlling this telescope wirelessly from this tablet, and I can either move it with my finger, or I can also pick from a catalog of objects, and if the object's up, I can slew to it and just press a button and it's going to find it for me, and then it's going to start tracking it. And this is great because I get the galaxy or the nebula or whatever, the planet that I want, and get it centered up in the eyepiece, and then switch to my camera. Or maybe I just have my camera on there and I'm looking at my monitor and I see the image come up. And at this point I can make fine adjustments to get the object directly centered. And this is going to save you a lot of time because, you know, in the past we'd have to do all this stuff kind of manually. We had tracking, but we didn't have computers to operate these things. And so this is, the advantage of having the computerized system is huge. So one of the most important parts of any telescope system for an astrophotographer is, the number one is probably going to be the mount. It's not the camera that you own or the telescope that you own, but the mount itself, because this is going to be carrying the whole package and making sure that we have smooth tracking in the system. There are many other fine things that we can do. We can have periodic error control. We can have auto guiding. There's a number of other elements that make up having a system that's really, you know, building an astrographic system. So what you want to do at this point is kind of decide what it is, you know, kind of work it backwards. Think about the kinds of objects you want to photograph. Then you start to fit the camera, the telescope, and to the appropriate size mounts. Mounts get much larger than this, but you can do quite a bit even with our smallest mount. It just, you need to approach it in an intelligent way. And to help you, you can contact our customer service department, or if you've chosen another mount, another telescope system, talk to the experts. You know, go to those customer service reps or take classes. There are astronomy and astrophotography workshops that are held across the country and around the world. But it's a fascinating hobby. And by doing astrophotographs, you're going to see details that you can't see visually. You're going to be able to pick up colors that are impossible to see by eye. And it's a fabulous hobby that allows you to share the experience. And once you've learned how to make a nice astrophotograph, then you can start to do science. And this is the one hobby where amateur and professional astronomers work together. So thanks for watching this. If you have questions, get in touch with us.
Because the director has to let you in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, open it up. It says focus on astronomy or astrophotography.
All right, good. You're in. All right, cool.
Cool.
See you in a minute.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
She should.
There she is.
All right, cool. Mercy. Got it. Lights bright. Do 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 do. No.
That's fine. I'll fix the camera.
What's wrong with the camera?
On the crop.
Oh, I'm not worried about it.
No. I'll leave that.
I know you are.
I'm not talking to you. Or you can talk to you actually.
I don't know. I don't hear her, so.
Are you there?
Can you hear me okay?
Can you hear us?
Microphone's on. I don't need that one. Oh, I can't hear you, Lydia. Not entirely sure. Oh, it's unmuted. It's muted on that one. Hang on, let me do.
Can you hear me?
Got it. Got it. Can you hear me? Lydia.
They're coming in 5x5.
Lydia.
Can't hear you.
I know that. That's why I'm just constantly telling her Lydia. Or saying Lydia. Can you hear me, Lydia?
That's so weird.
Yep.
I wonder if I can connect a different headset. Hold on.
Okay.
Coming up, Tyler.
You can't pause it?
I can, but we're not going to. They're already listening to us anyway.
But can they hear me?
Yes.
That's the key.
Yes.
Okay.
You're fine.
All right.
All right, welcome, Tyler.
Hey. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties with Lydia.
As you've heard.
I mean,
Yeah.
Everybody can hear it, unfortunately. So we are just going to wait until we can get that situated. So we'll talk a minute. I can give a little introduction about what Lydia does. Because we've had a lot of the same good old faces, same thing. I kind of wanted to break up a little bit of the monotony. Lydia is part of a all girls group called Stella. They're called We Are Stella, or we.r.stella. That's STELA. She is one of the team leaders in a. It's my phone.
Turn it off.
I'm trying to make sure that we can hear. So it's We Are Stella, and she's a team leader and a social media manager. It's an all females astrophotography group, and I was wanting to get her on to mainly just talk about how she started out in the astrophotography world, and see what trials and tribulations that she's faced as a beginner. Because I'm not sure how many years she's been doing it. I think it's less than 6 months, to be honest. Kind of go over her equipment. What has she found that's hard? What has she succeeded at the most of, and whatnot. Tyler's the loudest, Paul's second, and Lydia's faint. So that's kind of the feedback that we're getting right now.
But she's on screen. Hi.
But she is on screen. She can say hi. How you doing? But I can't hear. This is going to be a good episode today. This is going to be amazing. Oh, goody. This is going to be hard. This is why I had the phone on, so I could hear her talk. That way I can communicate with her that way, but it's going to cause a bad echo.
Well, no one can hear her now.
Yeah.
So it's not broadcasting.
How is my sound? Becca, your sound's always fine. Mine's fine.
Sorry.
Paul, can you hear her? Because I can't hear
I can't
anything.
hear her yet.
We're going to work on it.
She's
got
some kind of auto gain going on, and it's not working.
She's got something, but we're going to figure it out. It's what we do here. We troubleshoot. We figure out what's going on. But Lydia, I believe, if I remember correctly, she didn't start out with much of anything. And the group We Are Stella had I believe it was a contest. It was either a contest or the president reached out to me and wanted to see what we can do or what I could do to help her get started. So me and the president's name, there's actually two of them, a co-founder, is Diana Herber, reached out to me asking what would be a good starting point for an astrophotographer. And if anybody doesn't know Diana, who works at Starzona, she's the co-founder of We Are Stella. She's an amazing astrophotographer who still uses DSLRs mainly. She's kind of migrating over to dedicated cool cameras, but she's been very well known for DSLR work. She reached out to me just asking what kind of mount would be good, and everybody knows that I preach a good steady foundation, and you're golden. I suggested a Exos 2 with PMC 8, which is a flagship for Explore Scientific. My light went out. Dagnabbit. I don't know. It just maybe went out. It's fine. The nasty, the rays will come back, and my skin will glow with all sorts of brilliance. and we may have turned off the circuit. That's fine. It is what it is. There ain't nothing we can do about it right now. No, it's fine.
It's off.
And we got
Circuit's
a bunch of stuff going on around here. Got a whole bunch of stuff going. Yeah, got a whole bunch of stuff. Dang it. Dang it. This was going to be a good episode. Fiddlesticks.
It's not working for you yet.
It's just not working for me. Everything's going against me. It's not cool. So we've set her up.
Turnabout. That's fair play.
We've set her up with an Exos 2 with PMC8. She's loved the mount. I cannot remember the first scope she has, but I know she just recently picked up a used N208 from somebody. I'm not sure who that was. She hasn't had a chance to use it yet, but I've been trying to give her the rundown on how to, the do's and the don'ts with reflectors, collimation. She's pretty much got a knack for. Shouldn't have an issue. I cannot remember her first scope, though. That's the downfall. If you can see her in the background, she's concentrating, trying to figure out what's going on with the audio. And I don't know if she can even hear me, to be honest. I'm waiting for her to give me either a thumbs up or something. She can hear me, but I can't hear her. So dag-nabbit,
Pekka's
dag-nabbit.
screaming as loud as he can.
Yeah, Pekka's always screaming as loud as he can. That's what Pekka does. That's why we like Pekka. Pekka's one of the only few. Your shadow makes you look dramatic. Oh, thanks, Lucy. I appreciate that. So this is not how this episode was supposed to go. We were wanting to get more in depth on what Stella is as a group, because I'm curious, because it's an all-females group. I mean, there's not that many around in the astrophotography community, and if there is, I want to get them on board, get them here, get them in front of, I hate to say get them in front of the cameras. Yes.
Here's how we fix it. Just call her.
Yep.
And we'll just do like radio.
Radio. Love it. Calling her now. Calling her right now. Let me try it on my phone. Here we go. Here we go.
Let's get it next to your microphone.
Okay. Hopefully it doesn't cause a bad feedback.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Sweet. Cell phone always works. It's the best alternative. It's the cell phone.
Well, I was going to try to join on my phone to see if maybe that'll work better. Maybe?
Try it real quick, and we'll go from there. Just try it real quick. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so we're going to get there. Promise we're going to get there. She's going to try it on her phone, as you heard. Little minor difficulties. God, I love technology.
There
Always
it
changes.
is.
Hey.
Can you hear me and can you see me now? Like
I can hear you. Can see you. Turn down the volume a little bit because holy
No, it's
game.
fine. I've got it turned up.
Oh, you had it high? Okay, never mind. Never mind, Lydia.
okay, I was like,
So this is Lydia. She does have a voice. I knew she did. So Lydia, I didn't know if you, did you hear me at all, Lydia?
Hang on. Let me get to
Oh,
my
about now.
audio here and turn her down. There we go. Getting better.
we still good?
Perfect. I like how you're wearing a Starzona shirt. I don't know where you would have got that
Sideways.
from. I don't know where you got the Starzona shirt.
We could talk about that later.
Yeah. So, look, see, folks, I knew she had a voice. We've talked before. I'm glad everything is up and running now. Good old cell phones always do the trick. So, Lydia, did you hear me at all during that whole spiel of who you are, what kind of equipment you use?
How much of it
what?
did he get completely wrong?
Yeah.
Well, I have a Radian Raptor. That's my telescope, my wide field telescope that I
was the other
use. Yeah.
Yep.
I was
that was
like-
the other one.
Yeah.
I could not remember. I knew you had another one, but I could not remember which one it actually was. And that
Yeah,
was drawing me a blank.
Before I got my mount, I was just using my Raptor and my Star Tracker, basically. So
Star
my
Trek. That was the other one that you had. Okay. Yeah, I'm old. I can't remember things. You got to forgive me. So I talked a little bit. I know you probably heard me of We Are Stella. I know you're a social media manager for that particular group. But first, I want to get more. We'll talk about them or the group itself. But I want to know more about you. And I know the audience wants to know about you. Just you and me talking here. Don't even, the audience isn't, I mean, they're here, but they're not here. So it's just you and me.
Just draw attention to it, Eiler.
Why did you want to be an astrophotographer? What drew you towards it? Just kind of give us some little feedback about you and why you got started. That's basically it.
So basically, my whole thing started when I was living in Texas. I went to the Perot Museum in Dallas, and they have like a whole section for like space. So I went there and I was like wandering around, and I saw like a photo that they had of the Carina Nebula, and I had never seen that before. So I took a picture of it and I saved it because I was like, that looks super awesome. And then I moved to Utah, and I was like, that'd be cool to like have a telescope, And I had posted it on my personal Facebook, and then my cousin's wife, rest in peace, but she told me that I could rent a telescope from our local library. So that's what I did.
Yep.
And I went to my friend's house and we pointed it at the moon, and that basically was it for me. I was like, that's it in like real time. So
do you remember what telescope it was? Do you remember what telescope it was that you rented from the library by chance?
Yeah, it was one of those little Orion tabletop ones, like I think it was like the teal one.
Yeah, little reflectors. Yeah. So you kind of had the same experience that I had. Is my oldest child had a birthday. He wanted the telescope because he was fascinated with looking at stuff. And I got him a little Celestron small 70 millimeter. He never used it eventually. So I used it, and it just got me hooked. So yeah, I kind of know that feeling of that excitement that you're looking at something that you've always wanted to look at, but you've never had a chance, but now you're being given that opportunity, and it's invigorating. It's really, it takes your breath away in a sense as well. So yeah, so go a little bit, if you could go into a little bit more. So you were in Texas, you went to a museum. I wish we could see the Carina Nebula. That would be nice.
Yeah, I know.
We have to go to the south, dagnabbit. But I hear Chile right now is pretty nice to go shoot at in this area, or to shoot that nebula. So you got that. You got a Radiant Raptor, or what made you go towards more white field?
So basically, first off, like I decided I wanted to get a telescope, and my sister's friend was selling their telescope, their Orion XT 6, I believe is what it is. So it's like the 6-inch Dob.
Yeah.
So I ended up buying that from them, and I was just looking at the moon visually, basically, and then I kind of wanted to look to see like if there was a way I could take a photo of what I'm looking at. So I ended up falling into like one of OPT's like live streams that they used to have like on Instagram where they would talk about astrophotography. And so they were talking about the Milky Way, and I had never seen the Milky Way before. That was never seen it. So I got in touch with Mac Murdoch, and he was telling me how to image the Milky Way. So I bought a DSLR, went out to the Salt Flats here in Utah, which is like a Bortle 2, and took my first Milky Way shot, basically.
Nice. How did it turn out?
Yeah. It was amazing. Like it's on my Instagram. It's like one of my first pictures that I posted.
Nice. Nice. We'll have to give that a plug here in a minute, for sure. So you got your first shot of the Milky Way. You're in awestruck. You're like, oh my God, what else is out there? Holy manoli. Let's see what else we can do. What made you want to go from a DSLR, which is a great beginner camera? It really is. What did you end up using for that particular shot? Do you remember the exposure count or exposure setting, ISO, or any of that?
So I just used my stock DSLR. I used the Rokinon 14 millimeter with at f2.8, and I believe my ISO at 1600, I think.
Well, at a Bortle 2, 800 to 16, it's about right.
Yeah, I didn't require much, but yeah. So
no, God no.
So I did that, and then I was kind of just wondering, I was like, I mean, what else could I get, you know? And I was definitely looking into all of that stuff, and then I actually watched an OPT Twitch stream, and Diana was on there, and I was like, oh, so like I followed her on Instagram, and then me and her started talking, and then we fell into Stella, basically. She invited me to join it, and yeah, and so the rest is history. I ended up getting like a star tracker, which I was using my kit lenses for. So like my 70 to 300 on my Nikon, and then I ended up getting the Raptor a little later on for the wide field stuff.
Yeah, Raptor's nice. It's a real nice little scope, especially for beginning. If you want that wide field stuff, it's really, really good. So are you still using the DSLR at this point when you got the Radian Raptor, or did you migrate towards dedicated school cameras? You know, what made you want to take the more bigger step?
So I was still using a DSLR for a while there. So I was still just using that, and I was playing around with filters and whatnot to see what I could get. And I had everything stacked up like on my tracker. So like my DSLR, I had my guiding set up on there, my Raptor. So I'm pretty sure my tracker was like loaded, close to the weight limit, you know? I was talking to somebody, and they donated a Altair, I believe it was the 294 Astro camera, the cooled one. They donated that to me, so I was using that for a little bit, and then I ended up getting the mount and the ZWO 6200, or not 2600. So I was using that.
Holy moly!
I know, I was like, wait, that's not the right one.
Holy moly,
and
that's
then
a big jump.
I got the ASI Air, and so basically everything, I'll just, you know, taking everything. Like, I don't have to, like, be outside all the time, because I was, during those times before I got the ASI Air, I was outside in, like, 20-degree weather, 30-degree weather. Like, I was outside, like, in it, basically. Me too. Like, I love the cold, too, but, like, it's not cool when your laptop starts to get cold, and I'm like, like trying to get that.
That is true.
But
yeah, that is. So how
do you have a social media page or anything for your photography?
I do. It's Lydscha Photos.
Spell that for me.
So it's LYDCHA. No, LYDSCHA, and then photos.
LYDS.
Yes.
And then it's LYDS, then what?
Photos.
Photos. This is .com.
So in the background is the ominous voice of our director, just in case you
It's on Instagram.
Oh, it's on Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay. That helps.
And then I just got this beauty today, which I'm pretty stoked for.
Can't see. I gotta wait for the delay. Gotta wait for the delay.
Or you could.
Oh, you got the EAF. Yeah, I know. I can bring up the live stream. Why would I want to do that though? Logic. Why would I want to do that? Yeah, the EAF is nice. It really, it definitely changes the game tremendously.
Play with that.
Three Sisters Astronomy. Go ahead.
What was that?
Oh, I was saying that Three Sisters Astronomy said that wish we had seasons in Arizona. It's just hot. We can move. There's always a chance to move, and I believe during the winter it gets a little milder in temperature, because I know you guys are going through a monsoon season at the moment. But yeah, the EAFs that ZWO produce are amazing. They're great. You're going to put that, which scope are you going to put that on? Because I know you got two. We haven't discussed the other one yet. But which one are you going to put that on?
So I know I can fit it on my Raptor. So
you can fit it on the other one too.
Huh?
Yeah. You can fit it on the 208 too.
I was going to say, I might try that one first just to test it out and everything, because with the 208, I want to research on it so I can make sure I know what I'm doing with a Newtonian, you know, because it's different than a
That's fine.
refractor.
Just give me a call. Give me a call and help you out. Yeah, I had to write the document for CWO on all our focusers, so I know how to put them on. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it's gonna fit.
Yeah, it'll fit. It takes a little bit of engineering, but it'll fit. It's not hard. So you got an N208, and what do you plan on doing with the N208?
So I want to get. I definitely want to dabble in galaxies a little more, and then I want to, or like nebula that I can't really get with my wide field. Basically,
like M16. You want to see M16 would look good in a 208.
Nebula, that's the goal. I want to get the bubble.
Nebula, the bubble. Yeah, that is true. So, what kind of mount are you putting all this equipment on?
I'm using the EXOS2 with the PMC. So,
the PMC8 system.
Yeah, I've been using.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, it's awesome, like being able to use like the go-to, you know, because that was like my biggest struggle. My tracker was like taking the time to try to find targets with my tracker, like manually. So, it took like to do that. So, having a go-to is like a godsend, basically.
So you use the ASI Air with the PMC8 system. How are you finding the integration between two different products? Was it easy? Was it difficult? Just in case viewers are wondering if it's possible. I mean, obviously it's possible, but I mean, how did you find the integration for those two?
It's super smooth. There's like an additional cord that you have to get though for like the PMC8 to the ASI Air, but other than that, it's super smooth. It works with it just fine. Finds that the mount, and all you have to do is just connect it, and like it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it's the ASI Air is great. It does guiding, it does plate solving, imaging. It's got a planetary in it now. I don't know if it's got framing in Mosaic, but it's got plans. I call it. I mean, I think it's called plans, where you can set up a schedule or whatever you're wanting to shoot. It's sweet. So I know you also do another group where you're the social media manager for a group called We Are Stella. From what my research has shown me and that I've done is obviously it's an all females group. It's all astrophotographers from around the world. Is that correct?
Yeah. So it's females and non-binary, basically. So we'll just basically. So it is people from around the world. Like we've got people in India, here in the US, England, Australia, like they're really everywhere. And so it's really awesome to be able to like connect with them in different countries.
So what is the main purpose of the group? Are you guys just astrophotographers banding together just to do it, or just be friends? You know, what's the goal? What's the end goal? If there is an end goal, what's the purpose of We Are Stella?
So the whole purpose before was, with astrophotography being such a male-dominated hobby, there wasn't a whole lot of like, women or whatnot in it. So what we're trying to do is just basically have a whole group for women or non-binary people to be in it, basically. So we help each other out with any processing. If anybody has any questions about equipment, like we're there for each other. Like we just try to make it I don't want to say like a sisterhood, well maybe like a sisterhood, but more, just everybody feel, comfortable.
Pants. It's all it's just sisterhood. Yeah.
We all wear our own pants, but yeah.
Oh man. Because that's kind of what drew me to it to you guys as a group. Me and Lydia have talked before, but to find that there's a all females group that's dedicated as astrophotographers or just visual. I mean, do you guys have visual astronomers in the group as well?
Some of us do visuals. Like for mine, what I plan on doing, because I'm probably going to do like a local star party with people here in Utah, is my plan is to do like try like my Newtonian out for visuals as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like the local people that want to actually just look into everything. But yeah, a lot of us do both, basically.
Sorry, I'm texting Paul to show the Instagram page of We Are Stella. Because honestly, it needs to be out there, in my opinion. I know you guys are you kind of wanting to be the quiet bunch, but honestly, there's a lot of females out there that may not know about y'all, and
Yeah.
you know, we got to find you guys a driving force. And maybe we're it, maybe we're not it, and who knows? But the more people that know about Stella, the more information we can give about Stella, then we can, you know, get more females involved in just the astronomy community, whether it be science, astrophotography, visual, STEM stuff, doesn't matter. I mean, that's what I'm assuming you guys are wanting to strive for, is not, I mean, only astrophotography, but just more of a science-related type-esque thing.
Yeah.
But even though you guys started in astrophotography, and that's,
so,
go ahead.
We just want to have like a community or like a place for women and non-binary to go to when they need it, basically. So we understand like still not going to be something that people might stay at forever, and that's fine. You know, as long as we're able to help you, Stella will always be there. Basically, we're always going to have Stella there. We're always going to be available to help everybody. Like, even if you just have questions on like how to take a photo of the moon or something like that, like any one of us can help out with that. Like, that's been
that's been your whole message for anybody in Stella, basically.
Yeah, for me personally, like, it took me a really long time to have like an Instagram account for what I'm doing. Just because I'm very introverted, I was like, the attention isn't like the biggest priority for me. But at the end of the day, it's really just me wanting to encourage people to just look up, really, you know.
There it is. There, we found the page. We found the page. Yay! So We Are Stella. It's got 2,000 followers, which is impressive, to be honest. So, folks, if just supporting the astrophotography community, females, non-binary, whatever. I mean, we're all just a big, giant community. Go follow them. You know, we.r.stella on Instagram. They're a bunch of great. I've met just a few of them, which I know there's a bunch more. I hope to meet every single one of them. I hope I can get every one of them on the show. But I know with time constraints and different schedules, it's going to be hard. But go give them a follow. You know, they're a great group of young ladies, young women, non-binary, whichever. I'll get the lingo eventually. They're amazing, and they were here to help. I mean, it is. I mean, I didn't want to say it, so I'm glad Lydia did. It is it's a heavily male-dominated area. There are some people that are mean. There's some people that just don't want to help, and you know, it's hard to find those individuals that want to help because, you know, all the information's on the internet. Some people will literally just say, go search it on the internet like I did, blah, 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 blah. You know,
that's what you tell me all the time.
Well, it's because you're a photographer. You should know it.
I don't need to know nothing.
Exactly. But it's great to have that group out there if you're struggling, and you're afraid to speak to people, because sometimes people are just afraid to communicate with people, even if it is through an instant message. You know, sometimes it's hard to get the word out, and it's great to have a group that is willing to help you understand. They've all been through what you've gone through. Either it's processing or how do I take an image of something, you know, what's my ISO at, you know, how do I hook up equipment? I mean, everybody's gone through it in this community, male or female. You know, it's just some people are just more afraid to talk to others about it. because they're either afraid of the response, the person that's getting the email back may be just a booty. He may just be hateful, or they may just be hateful. So if you get a chance to check out the group, We Are Stella, please do, not just for me, but just for them, to get the word out, who they are, what they represent. It's a very big thing here. And that's what I want to try to get them on more, because they deserve the recognition that they need, and that they actually deserve, because we all do. I mean, we're all beginners. We all started somewhere, and it's time to break up. Get some more people on the show. I know we all have the same amount of people, the same ones surrounders. Well, just for my show.
Experience in stuff.
Yeah, and the experience, technical stuff.
Also, not just technical either. I mean, one of the things that I found to be the most interesting part of it was finding people and listening to their stories about how they got into it, what they did, how they've done it, and the people that their little group, the group that they have, and we've got everything has clicks, and I don't think we need a click. I've always been trying to stop that. It doesn't matter. We're all human. Nobody deserves anything. We just all deserve to be nice to each other and support the folks that are out there. And it's just a great thing to see younger people in this, no matter what, no matter who they are, because honestly, a lot of these guys are really old.
I know he's not talking about me. I know he's not talking about me, because I'm not that old.
I had to do it. I did.
I'm
the comic relief around here.
It's the comic sort of relief around here. So you're social media manager. So what do you do for Stella in general? I mean, do you welcome new members, or do you just control the actual, just the Instagram stuff? What do you do for that group in particular?
So I answer the messages on our social media page. Basically, I post all of the new member posts that we have on there. Whenever we announce a new member, I do that. I post member stories, and people who happen to tag Stella, I would post their stories. I don't want anybody to think that we only just post Stella members as a story. You're more than welcome to tag Stella, and we'll post it. It's totally fine. We'll share it as a story. We just basically want to be show that we're welcoming to everybody. It's not just for females. We want to be able to have friends everywhere.
Perfect. And that's the message that we all should try to go for. Whether in a group or individually, it's whatever. Three Sisters Astronomy says Lydia is a boss. Yes, Three Sisters Astronomy, I would have to agree. They also say anytime we meet any women, we push them over to Diana and Stella. Amazing group. Yes, I'm hoping to get Diana on eventually. I'm wanting to get her as the president, and the other one, Sarah. Is that the other co-founder? Sarah. Perfect. Yeah. But she's overseas, correct? She's in the UK.
She's in Australia.
Australia, way over there.
Yeah.
So the time difference, we'll have to figure that out. She may, I hate to say it, she may have to come on Saturday, which we'll have to see. I'll have to get with Diana and her and see if they're willing to do that. That way they can go in a little bit more about Stella. What do they do as individuals for the group, and get to know them, because that's what this whole show, like Paul said, is about, is getting to know the individual that is on. Because Lydia, this is your first time. I don't know if it's your first time doing kind of a broadcast type-esque thing.
Okay.
But it's basically just to hear about you and what you actually do, whether it's just astrophotography or Stella. So what are your plans in astrophotography? What targets do you have in mind? like right now, besides the bubble. I know the bubble has been in your heart for many, many times. I know, just the bubble. You know, where at? Go ahead.
I've got a couple of targets in mind. Like, I'm hoping that this summer is good to us, so I can actually get the Milky Way again this time, because I've only been able to get it that one time. I want to get the Lagoon and Trifid, probably with my wide field. Yeah,
yes, that'll be good.
I want to do Andromeda justice. You know, like I have goals.
Goals, yeah, with your 6,200, right? What your goal? You got your stuff going.
One day, right?
Yeah. I know you meant 26. Lucy McLeod said
goal.
His goal is to be the first human to shoot a non-shaking video of a UFO.
There you
That's
go.
A good goal to have, Frederick.
I feel like that could. Like, you can do that.
Lucy McLeod says, as a woman who is new to the astronomy community, I am psyched to know that there is a group to know that this group exists. It is empowering when women get together and do great things. So see, you guys are already, even within the group or the chat, you're already inspiring others to join. So I mean, that's the message that you guys are wanting to spread. I hope that we can continue to have you guys on here more to keep spreading that message around for the women of astrophotographers, because I believe some of your members are Molly Wakeling. That's really the only one I know. Well, besides you and Diana and Sarah, Flo, the sisters. Yeah, there's a bunch of y'all.
We got Helena. She's in our group.
You got Helena.
Stacy. She's in our group. We have quite a few people. Like we've got a lot actually. And one thing I do want to say as well is, even if you're not comfortable, like if you're a woman or whatnot and you're not comfortable with being in a group, you can always just message us and we'll still help you out with like equipment or like how to do things. Like it's totally fine. You don't have to be in the group to get the help that you want. We just want to make you feel that you can.
Power's on. Glad that light works. God, all I can see is bulbs now. So that's great that you're able to. I mean, you can join the group if you want, but if you're a little timid about asking questions, that's the beauty thing. You guys you basically have an open door policy. You can just message whoever. That's impressive. It really is. Not a whole lot of groups around anymore have open door policies to that extent. You usually have to go through a whole lot of chains to get to what you're wanting to do. So that's cool. That's a great thing to have in a group, because you guys are actually a decent sized group. Now I need to figure out how many but how many, which I need to get with Diana and Sarah and figure out how many individuals that you have in your group that are just your group, not as followers or anything of the sort. That's awesome. It's really awesome. So you got an Exos 2 with PMC8. You got the ASI Air. You got the Radiant Raptor. You got your DSLR. Which DSLR? You said you had one, but you never. Canon, Sony, Nikon. Which one?
Yeah, so I use the Nikon D5600. That's the one.
Oh, nice. That's a good camera. That's a very good camera. You get lenses on those that come with it, which I think is it's an 18 to 50, and then 70 to 200, I think.
Yeah, it's 70 to 300, but yeah, those are the kit lens. Those are the ones that I was using. But I did eventually sell the kit lenses, and then I bought like just regular like prime lenses for it.
Prime lenses, perfect. How do you like in the Rokinon 14?
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites to use.
Perfect. I'm gonna have to. What do I have? I have which one is it? It's a 28 millimeter or 24. I think it is the Rokinon one. I need to. Yeah, it's the Rokinon. Thanks, Paul. It was a 2 point. I think it's a 2.8.
Did you steal it from here?
No, because it's better than here.
I don't think so.
It's a 1.4. It's better.
This is
wow.
1.5.
Yep. See, there you go. I have a 1.4. Mine's better.
But it's
so
also different. I'm going to bring it over there. I'm just going to show you right now.
Right now, he's going to bring me a lens right now. That's what he does. So, how has processing been? What kind of programs do you use as far as stacking or? Oh, that's a cinema lens.
Yes, it's a cinema lens.
Well, that's
it's different.
It's not the same. It's not the same. Anyway, so what kind of software did you start out with? What have you migrated to? What are the girls of Stella helped you migrate to? Give us a little bit of that.
As far as I love processing, like that is like the one thing that I can do like all night and I will enjoy it basically.
I'll give you some of my data then,
I will
like
I will totally process it. Like that's what I did where I was actually getting like my own data is I was actually getting data from others so I can get used to the idea of processing and figuring out how to do it. I was using Photoshop for a while there, but then I migrated over to PixInsight. That's my go-to, basically, for processing.
So basically, we're going to have to set up a meeting time, just you and me, and then you're going to have to give me the rundown because that thing just literally blows my brain every time I even open it up.
I love it. I bought like a book on it to so I research everything, basically. So I bought like a book.
Yeah.
On learning everything. I watched tons of YouTube videos. Like I just try to figure out my own way before I try to ask for help with things. But yeah, so PixInsight is my go-to. I stack in Deep Sky Stacker though because it's too confusing. It's too confusing.
So weighted, what is it? It's WBPP. So weighted batch pre-processing. Actually, you need to check that tool out because it is very, very handy. It literally walks you through it step by step. It really does.
I'll try it. But I'm a person of routine. I will say I'll be the first one to say it. Person of routine. Deep Sky Stacker has been been good to me. It hasn't strayed me yet.
Led me astray yet. Hasn't led me astray yet. The one thing that I noticed with Deep Sky Stacker compared to PixInsight is I could take the same data, doesn't matter what it is, and Deep Sky Stacker will spit it out five different ways compared to PixInsight. Mm-hmm. That was one of my main issues. Still made great data, but something would always be different in each individual stacked frame. That's why I jumped to PixInsight, and man, that's a big jump. Yeah, I didn't think there was deeper water, but you get into PixInsight, that's deep water.
I love it.
There's just so much to learn. So much to learn. So maybe you need to put on some classes.
I love it. It's my go-to every time I get data and I come out and do a quick little processing to see how good my data is, and then
so
basically
I actually I'm shooting I've shown you guys when we had our meeting last week, the elephant trunk. Just finally got done with the HA data, so I want to send you all of that, see what you can do with it. I'm also working on Eastern Veil. I'm going to do, the Western Veil, Witch's Broom, and then I'm going to do the Pickering's Triangle and the Eastern Veil with the 127 that I have. I need to get set up for wide field because I want to get that whole veil, the Veil Nebula in one shot. I just don't have the camera for it yet. I'd have to set up a mosaic, and I have no idea how to do a mosaic. See, folks, I don't know how to do hardly anything on that.
Photoshop Master sitting in here. You finish your photos, hand them to me. I can show you how to do it in Photoshop.
That's Photoshop. I want to know how to do it in PixInsight.
You can finish the photos in PixInsight, and then we can attach them in Photoshop. It's simple.
I know I'm going to butcher this name. Sheena? It says mosaics are easy. Well, we need to have you on here so you can put on a class because I haven't experimented with it yet. I haven't messed with it. I haven't done it. They scare me. They honestly scare me. I'm afraid that my the frames aren't going to match up in Photoshop or PixInsight, and it's going to throw everything off, and I'm going to be very upset because that's going to take a lot of time to do all that stuff. But I'll get with Lydia. Lydia apparently is the expert.
I was actually considering doing like a mosaic of M31 with the Newtonian, because I'm pretty sure I can get a lot of good data with it and then do a mosaic on it. That's also a goal of mine that I'm going to try to do. We'll see.
So you have the 2600. So I'm assuming it's one-shot color because everybody in that group hates mono for some reason. I haven't figured out why yet. You have the L Enhance or L Extreme by chance?
I have the L Extreme. Yeah,
so
the 2-inch filter.
So if you're going to do a mosaic, here's something that I think you should. And you have the L Pro? Perfect. So here's something that I think you could try, because I had a buddy that did the same thing. He did a mosaic of Andromeda's galaxy. Now, what he did was, his is, of course, in mono, but still the same thing. Use the hydrogen or the L Extreme on Andromeda's galaxy. You're like, why? Why do I want to do that? There's actually a lot of hydrogen alpha within M31. Take, I don't know, 60 frames at 100. I don't know what your Bortle sky is. We'll say 180 seconds, and just get what you can, and you will be amazed how much red is actually in the arms of those galaxies, and just pop. And it will take your whole M31 to the next level, in my opinion. Because if you can pull out the dark nebulae in the arms, all the hydrogen alpha, and not completely blow out the core, holy moly, man, that will literally take your game to the next level on that. But it requires more processing, but especially in the photo or the PixInsight realm, because you got to do the layers and all that, or the channels and do all that stuff. Try that out. See what you might get out of it.
My goal, what I plan on doing, because I shoot through Bortle 7, Bortle 8, so it's pretty light loaded.
We're almost the same. Yeah.
So my goal is to use the L Pro to get as much data as I can, and then use the L Extreme to get the other portion, and then put them together. Basically, that's my goal that I'm going to try to do.
How many frames are you going to try to go for?
I don't know. I don't have a yard, so I go to my parents' house to image. One day, I'm going to get a yard one day. But so I go over there, and that's why I don't have mono, because I don't have the time to do all that, like to just do it all night. I don't have the time.
It is very time consuming, but I'm telling you, once
one
you
day
get one, it changes everything. I swear, it changes. It changes
I'm
everything.
pretty sure
you
it will.
Try one. If you want to try one, just reach out and I'll let you borrow one of mine, because I have 3. If you just want to try it,
I don't know. I've processed mono data, and I've put it together and brought it to RGB. So I've done it before. It's just I don't have a lot of experience. I shoot with one-shot color all the time.
You're fixing to, because I'm fixing to unload a bunch of data just your way.
I could do it.
If you want to mess with the Rosette, I got the Rosette. I got Merlot 15. I got a whole bunch of stuff. Try living in Scotland. I would love to visit Scotland. I don't know about living there, but I'd love to visit. Sure. So, I mean, I'm glad you were able to find time in your busy schedule, Lydia, to come on and, discuss what you do as an astrophotographer, what you do for We Are Stella. So, I mean, do you have any closing remarks? Do you have anything that you want to say to the people that are watching, just about you or the group or anything before we kick off, and then I can go home and do stuff?
I don't know. Just I don't want anybody to feel like they have to, they can't ask us anything. Like, you can always ask us things. You can message me personally, and I'll try to help you as best I can. It's totally fine. I am an open book, and if you're struggling, trust me, I've been struggling. That's how I look at it. Polar alignment is the bane of my existence. So,
even with the ASI Air polar aligns, though.
Well, yeah, but that's what I mean. Just in general, before I got the ASI Air, polar alignment was the bane of my existence. I struggled
Bad
all the
idea.
time, so it's totally fine. I get it. And even then with the ASI Air, it doesn't take me as long, but it still takes some time. Fine. It's not something that I'm gonna rage over anymore. But yeah.
That's good. We don't want that. We don't want raging. No raging.
No, it's all
raging.
expensive equipment. I can't rage.
It is very expensive equipment. That is very true. But again, Lydia, I really appreciate you coming on, giving us a little bit about yourself. I hope we get to have you on later or next time. But guys, make sure you go to either Lydia's Instagram page. I'll see if Paul can bring it up real quick so you can see it. And the same with We Are Stella. Please go follow them. Go hang out, see what these girls can do. I mean, they're open to all females, non-binary, and that's amazing. It really is, because we need more people like this in the community that are just caring and wanting to help out individuals that may be timid or scared or just don't know where to turn to. Especially in a male-dominated area, but there are groups out there. I mean, obviously they're right here. I'm speaking to one of them. So don't be too timid because you don't know what you might miss. These girls they're great to deal with. From the ones that I've talked to, they literally will help you no matter what issues you're having.
Ladies.
Tyler. Sorry. I forgot. I apologize. Connor Bradley. With my F9 Bresser Achromat, would it give good results with minimal chromatic aberration due to the long focal length better than shorter acros? Connor, it depends on what you're looking at, depends on your light pollution, but you will have chromatic aberration. If you're wanting to cut down on some of the chromatic aberration, what filter? I believe a UV-IR filter, if you screw it on the end of the nose piece, or the end of the diagonal, if it has that ability to have a thread-on filter, use a UV-IR cut. That'll help a little bit, but you're still going to have chromatic aberration. I mean, it's a doublet. It's going to be there.
Yeah.
It's not something that you can visually. It's going to be there. If you have a monochrome setup and you want to take pictures with it, you can process it out. But I hate to be the bearer of bad news, man. It's going to be there. It's going to be there. It's just one of those things that cannot be avoided. But as far as if it's better with longer focal length versus shorter focal length, I honestly do not know that answer. I would imagine it doesn't have any difference if it's short or long focal length. It's just chromatic aberration, and it's there, unfortunately. Sorry, I meant for imaging. Yeah, if you're doing it for imaging, try a UV-IR cut filter. They're fairly inexpensive. If you're doing one-shot color, or if you're doing a monochrome setup, just do monochrome, and then it'll process out. You can process it out on its own. Just one of those obstacles that you got to get over, buddy. If you need any help, you have my Facebook, unfortunately, so you can definitely message me and I'll help you out in any way I can. If you have data that you want me to look at, I can look at it. I mean, that again, we're a family here. Doesn't matter what you are or who you are, we're a family, and we're going to make sure that we get you taken care of as one, because that's my goal, is to treat everybody like a family. I love my family. I always take care of my family, because that's what I do. So I think that's it. Lydia, do you have anything? Are you you going to go imaging right now? You going to go set up?
So it's cloudy, but tomorrow I think it's supposed to be clear. I'm hoping that it stays clear. So that's the plan. Tomorrow I want to try the Newtonian out. So
I'm excited.
I
Take
get
pictures. Take pictures, please. That way, if we get you on next time, you can kind of show us what's going on, how it happened, what worked, what didn't work. And then if you need anything, don't hesitate to call. You have my number, so I can help you hook up the EAF, or you can reach out to Stella. Maybe they can help you. I don't know. Who knows? But guys, again, I appreciate you tuning in and hanging out with me and Lydia, who's a part of We Are Stella. Hope to have her back on later, and other group members as well, to just get to know their side of the story. But again, my name is Tyler with Explore Scientific. Thank you for tuning in on Focus on Astrophotography. Today is Friday, the 15th, 2022. I have to do that every time because Paul told me to, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Hope you guys have fun.
At the beginning to let people know that it's live.
Whatever. but then they have to watch the whole thing to find out. That's the thing. Yeah, well, you guys take care. See y'all later.
See ya.
You